Hello, this is Tax Pro Guang. I provide tax filing for individuals and accounting services for businesses in Montreal. Today, I've specifically invited a couple who uses our services. I proposed that it would be wonderful if they could provide a user review or even a mid-service review, and they graciously accepted. So, let's get started. Both of you. Since your last name is Lee, I'll call you the Lee couple. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Lee.
Hello?
Just talk to me comfortably, as if we're simply having a casual chat. We briefly mentioned what we'd cover, but it seems you've already been handling your tax filing here in Canada for some years. If I may inquire, you had been utilizing a different service for quite a few years before making the change to Tax Clinic accounting, correct?
Yes, that's right.
But could you briefly tell me about your previous experience and why you decided to switch to the Tax Clinic accounting?
Yes, we've both been residing in Canada for more than a decade at this point.
10 years.
Indeed, it's been about a decade since we started our adult lives here in Canada, and during that period we had our taxes taken care of by a Chinese accounting firm. However, as more time passed, as their staff changed, communication became a problem. Unlike before, when we'd ask why our tax refund was a certain amount or less than last year, we wouldn't get a clear answer. They would simply state that they were unsure. Yeah, as our income increased, the amount we received back from our taxes either stayed the same or, frustratingly, sometimes even went down. It was through our acquaintances that we eventually discovered TaxPro.
So you found out about me through a friend. I usually say this during the first consultation. People often assume it's best to stick with one tax filing company for convenience. But if you've changed multiple times, was there any instance before where communication was at least somewhat adequate? Like, did they provide explanations?
No, never.
No, not a single time. Our reasoning was, well, even if the communication isn't great, we've stuck with them for 10 years because they're affordable. We continued to use that Chinese tax clinic specifically for its low cost, but eventually it began to feel incredibly regrettable and wasteful. Even when we had questions, there was nowhere to ask, and they wouldn't answer. So I think that's when we started looking for a Korean tax clinic.
However, if I am to be blunt about that specific point, it's inherently impossible when you're using a cheaper service. Secondly,
But the price went up. We asked them, since we were officially employed, we asked if there was anything extra we needed to file, and the answer we got back was just to do it the same way as always.
let me give you the second and more crucial answer. They don't know, those people.
And so, seeking a more specialized professional, we eventually found our way to this place.
Those people are only at the level of simple data entry. They don't know how the system works, why things are needed, or how it all connects, so they're just scrambling to get the filing done. Therefore, any additional information or further planning that you might need or want to undertake after that initial step becomes absolutely impossible to achieve. So with that knowledge, how then were you introduced to or recommended the Tax Clinic accounting?
Well, we inquired among our acquaintances about which tax clinic they used, and a good number of them pointed us to this particular one. That's precisely how we ended up reaching out and contacting your services.
So you ended up making the change. If I ask you straightforwardly, there had to be a difference, right? Considering what you've been doing for over 10 years.
Oh, there was a huge difference.
There's a really significant difference. And while I'm sure you both have a lot to share, could each of you highlight just one or two specific things that really stood out?
Well, for me, the substantial difference was that the tax refund I received was nearly twice as much as before, and what's more, even.
Noticeable right away?
The difference was apparent immediately. My yearly income hadn't increased substantially. In fact, it hadn't risen by much at all, yet my refund was literally double what I received the year prior.
So then,
Um,
was the procedure different?
No, the procedure was exactly the same. The documents were all the same too. Although you requested more detailed information from me, the data I actually provided remained exactly the same as previously.
Even though the information was identical, that's interesting, but surely those prior companies barely asked any questions, did they?
None at all. It was just, give us your basic information, such as your date of birth, and simply send us the T4 slip you received from your company. They didn't ask for any additional detailed information beyond that. If there were any changes, they'd just tell me to write it in an email. It was just that, and after that there was no further contact or follow-up from them whatsoever.
Of course. So you must have been a bit puzzled, wondering, what's going on? Why is there such a big difference?
Honestly, I was really taken aback. I even found myself thinking, did we somehow fill something out incorrectly?
But whenever I sent you an email concerning such matters, you would always respond promptly. Therefore, we've had no problems whatsoever up to this moment, and for that particular reason, I genuinely have absolutely no regrets.
while proceeding
I mean, the amount was double.
because the refund amount doubled. Right, naturally. The service fee would indeed be higher, obviously, compared to the previous firm.
But the difference wasn't all that significant, you see, because their rates also increased following the pandemic. The amount we had to pay compared to when we first started.
But you two probably came through a referral, so you would have gotten a good discount. You likely paid half price, so that's also a factor.
Right.
So, were there any other differences in the process compared to the old firm?
Well, the difference with the old firm is that, first of all, they would only inquire about past matters. No, not really inquire. You'd simply fill out forms, send them off, and that was that. However, with our current firm, Tax Clinic Accounting, even though we opted for the premium service, it's only been a year, our first year, and we have absolutely no regrets. Plus, if we have any questions for our pronym, we get clear answers. Furthermore, the fact that our pronym made time for us at year end to help us with future planning for next year, that's what I really appreciate. We're satisfied.
So, what are your thoughts on that particular point? Tax filing isn't merely confined to submitting your taxes. Rather, you can proactively devise a strategy to either decrease your tax burden or fully optimize the benefits available to you. You've been informed about this, haven't you?
Yes.
Regarding that, the previous firm honestly didn't even explain the tax filing process itself, did they?
Indeed, this is truly the very first time I've heard of RRSP and TFSA while residing here. Honestly, I tend to research thoroughly and want to know things myself. Especially in Canada, you gain what you grasp and lose out if you don't. I really looked into a lot. Well, it's embarrassing to say a lot, but I did my research, and yet this is the first time I've heard of it, so...
First time in 10 years?
Yes, so I feel a bit embarrassed and regretful about the past, but it's in the past. I'm just thinking I need to do better from now on.
One additional point I want to bring up is that I also committed to performing a review of your prior tax filings, didn't I? Because that's what you wanted. So how did you find that part? I know the process isn't completely finished yet.
Yes, right now.
Honestly, searching for those 10 years worth of documents was quite a nuisance for me. But then again, we're receiving money that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise, right? Once we actually received it, I have to admit, it felt really good and was genuinely delightful.
Yes, my hesitation was because I still haven't received it. So I'm not entirely sure about that yet. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yes, one side. Has Elim's not come through yet? Not at all? Yeah, it hasn't come through yet.
Wasn't the Quebec side processed?
Happy.
Yes, so I received a reply that it's currently in progress and will be processed shortly, but I haven't received complete confirmation yet.
So Elim's side came through and you're happy about that?
I'm satisfied.
Happy.
Well, you should at least be that happy after all the work I put in.
Which,
Elim's results aren't in yet, but I didn't guarantee a specific outcome. We need to see how it unfolds.
All right, that's true.
so yes, I haven't received a definite done or not done yet, only that it's in progress. But as high expectations can lead to great disappointment, I'm simply holding back.
Don't get your hopes up.
Right, so I'm just...
Absolutely do not get your hopes up for the other side. Just wait, and when it comes through, I'll let you know.
Got it.
Now, if I might just be blunt for a moment and bring up something about the tax clinic accounting, you haven't even been utilizing our services for an entire year yet. My apologies for saying that. But based on your experience so far, there's a clear difference compared to the past, and you don't have any major complaints, right?
Right. Yes, that's right.
Now that you're speaking with me, you might hesitate, but go ahead. I'm giving you the chance. I'm going to ask you to say just one thing. Could you identify one specific type of person for whom it would be particularly beneficial to utilize tax clinic services at least once to get assistance? Is this a point you both concur on, or do you each have a separate view?
Or well, if, hypothetically,
If I were to say something,
if you're making future plans, for example, buying a house or having a child, as a couple, and we are a couple, those were the kinds of plans we were making.
Yep.
Oh, what we truly regret the most is that if we had engaged with the tax clinic a bit earlier, we believe we could have leveraged our taxes much more effectively and advantageously. We realize that we might have missed out on significant benefits by not consulting them sooner.
so if there are people who are outlining very specific future plans, I truly hope they would consider getting a consultation at least one time. Because there's so much you come to learn, and numerous things you can arrange simply by getting a consultation.
Getting one is a big deal. Mr. L, is there anyone you would say these people should definitely try the tax clinic at least once?
Yes, first, those too lazy to search for themselves. Don't let the hassle stop you. They are helping you find your own money, so I believe it is truly beneficial to at least speak with them once and discuss your options. I highly recommend it to those who dislike searching, who don't want to bother looking up information, or who simply find it too troublesome.
But even if someone enjoys thorough research, could they truly uncover it?
No, only someone professionally trained in that area can do this.
Right, no matter how much you like searching and how good you are at it,
There's a limit.
there's a limit.
There's much misinformation online. That's the problem.
There's so much hearsay out there, and it's all based on personal experience.
Right.
All right, so who exactly should use tax clinic accounting and who, conversely, should absolutely steer clear of it?
I can say this. If you're sensitive, you should probably toughen up before you come.
Toughen up?
Yes, the pronoun is truly and publicly very direct. He will flat out tell you if something is incorrect. The pronoun will tell you, this won't work. Do it this way moving forward. It's for those who can truly accept that. Even if you don't want to accept it, it would be good for your future if you did.
What you're saying is that I'm very direct, just, you did this wrong. This is how much you lost.
Yeah, direct, yeah.
Because he is so blunt and realistic when he tells you the exact amount you've supposedly lost, it truly feels as if those funds have actually been squandered. So, I don't believe you should arrive anticipating the usual kind of warm, friendly Korean hospitality. It's probably best for individuals who are ready to face the truth, understanding their past mistakes, and recognizing that with proper preparation, they can significantly increase their potential earnings. But even if you're not, you still have to go through it. What can you do?
But you heard,
We're trying to save money here.
this wasn't rehearsed or prearranged in any way. These are truly the genuine thoughts and opinions of the couple. If I were to present a counter-argument, I would emphasize that my focus is unequivocally on the practical, real-world aspects of tax matters and the financial side of the work. I can't personally manage the friendly aspects, so I delegate that to my employees like Senior from Tax Clinic Accounting or the assistant. My focus is squarely on this specific area. So you should know that I speak realistically and directly. I don't beat around the bush. I state the precise facts as they are. So, if I were to consider changing that, if I were to attempt to soften it, there's just no time. I simply don't have the time to do so. There's no time to phrase things gently, because fact-checking and explaining everything actually takes a very long time if you get into it.
Right.
I try to be quick and focus on the work, but if there are things I can change, it would be good to change them. So you can proceed that way. Is there anything else you might want to discuss later? It's already been 12 minutes, so we'll conclude shortly. But perhaps there's something. Is there anything else you might like to add or mention before we conclude?
Well, to conclude, I'd say that since every individual's circumstances are unique, the discussions you have, the benefits you receive, and the amounts you need to pay will all vary accordingly. Therefore, if you're feeling inquisitive, don't just search on the internet and blindly accept only the positive information that's circulating. I firmly believe that if you take the time to come in and have a thorough discussion, you will undoubtedly achieve a truly beneficial result, as there's often more to discover than what appears online.
Talking with you too, thanks. It almost feels like this is a review encouraging people to use our service. Just a moment to clarify this. There's an implication to use the service, but from my perspective, if you've either been in Canada for a significant period or are a recent arrival, the premium service truly enables me to delve deeper into your situation and have a more thorough discussion with you. And so, my genuine belief is that even if you use it just once or twice, you won't suffer any significant loss. Rather, you'll likely gain more advantageous insights and information. Whether you choose to continue using the service afterwards, I honestly don't know if that message will be conveyed. But in your situation, you utilized it and even received the comprehensive review service, so it certainly wasn't a negative encounter, was it? Since we're currently observing it, we will conclude with the remaining parts. This was a brief segment about a couple utilizing our service. I had aimed for 10 minutes, but it's now stretching to 14. Thank you for taking part in this. This has been your tax reporter. Many thanks.
Thank you.